Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Reset Your Resolution Workshop 2026. I'm actually really excited to do this workshop. And I'll let you guys sign on and welcome. It's really funny that I'm doing this workshop at the end of February, but I think it was really appropriate. We were kind of laughing that, no one in New England, at least if you're watching from home in New England, we kind of fumbled 2026. No one was ready for all the snowstorms. We're not even going to talk about what happened in the Super Bowl, but none of us were really ready for this year. And I think the other really cool thing about doing this workshop now is that we're now in the Chinese New Year, and we'll talk a little about that. And so I think at first, when we realized it, when we were working on our marketing calendar, me and my new assistants, I was like, oh crap, I forgot to do the Reset Your Resolution workshop just because we've been so just, I was laughing today. I said, these snowstorms, like someone took my life, put it in a blender, forgot to put the lid on, and just turned it on. I'm trying to reschedule all these things, and I'm going to drop the ball somewhere. I know it. But it was one of those things where in the meeting I go, you know what, screw it, let's do it in 2 weeks. And then I realized the new zodiac calendar just started last week, so we actually are entering a new year. And between all these freaking snowstorms, we're ready for it now. And I think this is now a really good time to kind of like sit in, really get into the new year. And I think this workshop is just a great one. And I was just joking that this is another workshop where I joke that I say the reason I do this workshop is really for me, so that I actually will sit down and work on my goals this year. Because if I don't do this workshop, I probably won't. And so I'm hoping at home, you guys at home, got your packets. I spent a little extra time on them. Funny enough, we had a huge snowstorm, another snowstorm. We had a huge snowstorm a couple weeks ago, and we had a big one, a blizzard, Monday? So, of course, what do? Do I relax at home? No, I rewrote this entire workshop because it was the last of the ones I needed to update. So I hope you guys enjoy the new PowerPoint, some of the new information. I'm actually really excited about it. It just makes me that much more excited when it's a little bit prettier. So, all right, so you guys ready to start? Let's do it. All right, let's dive into this workshop this year. So I was just joking that it's late, but it is right on time, because in 2026, in February, sorry, excuse me, February 17th is when the Year of the Horse started. And I think last year I did talk about Year of the Snake. We had all, like, it's funny, everybody, I'm looking at my audience here, everyone seemed to have a really crappy, I probably shouldn't swear on this, 2026. It was a year, and we saw it coming. Year of the Snake in the zodiac sign is one of those years that's really hard change. So one of the big things is it really just shakes you up. It's the year of shedding what is and releasing old versions of yourself. It was insane. Even to the last minute, I was hearing stories, and even in my office, job turnovers, a lot of loss, whether it's loss of relatives, family members. I know it sounds cheesy, but pets. A lot of my poor patients lost like very close people to them, like unexpectedly. It was a very strange year, losing jobs. So just a lot of change, letting go of things that don't serve you anymore, releasing things. And that's what the snake's all about. They say if you dream of a snake and it bites you, it means you're going through a change in your life. It doesn't mean doesn't mean anything bad. It just means it's like when you dream of death, like if you die in a dream, it means that you're becoming a new person. In the tarot cards, death card means you're going through a change. It's actually one of my favorite cards because it doesn't mean you're going to die. It means you're going to go through a change. And that's what the Year of the Snake was all about. Hard change, even up to the last minute. Maybe things that you lost that you didn't think you're actually going to lose. So what's awesome is, yes, we said goodbye to the Year of the Snake. Peace. I feel like everybody, and even business losses, a lot of my friends got hurt in their businesses. The best news is that now we just started last year, the Year of the Fire Horse. The Fire Horse is significant. It's not something that happens every Year of the Horse, and it's all about rapid, fast change. And I was just saying the coolest thing that I've heard is that the harder your Year of the Snake was, the better the Year of the Horse is going to be. So hopefully that gives a lot of you guys hope who had a really rough year. And it's all about big, fast changes and personal growth. We keep saying full speed ahead. It's the Year of the Horse. Let's go. So it's pretty cool. So it kind of like, the snake kind of shook up your old systems, and now we're going through bold transformation, personal growth, think big, embrace change. That's about the Year of the Horse. So it's a full steam ahead kind of year, which I think is a great time now to do this workshop for that reason. So everyone grab a notebook. You guys have some notes. I think there is a page in your notes. For those at home, if you forgot to sign up for the email list, the reason I have an email list is so that I can send you, Miss Molly can send you guys the packets. And there's some really cool sheets in the packets. It's like homework, but it's not, and you could pick and choose from that, from what you want to write down. So what I'm gonna have you do is turn to the page that just has like the blank page, or pull out a notebook if you have a notebook at your house. Exactly. I want you to pull a notebook down, and we're gonna start this New Year workshop, even though it's February, with I want you to write two really great things that happened last year, and then two things that were really difficult that really sucked last year. And then I want you to write one lesson that you learned. So take a second right now, write down two great things that happened last year. I don't even care if like you ate a really good sandwich. They're looking at me like I'm crazy. Like two really good things that happened last year. Anything. Like who knows? And then write down two crappy things that happened. And then maybe something that you learned from last year and that can be better for this year. Cool. All right, so let's talk about where we're going. See, isn't it cute? You guys like my new workshop? Yeah. New PowerPoint? I think it's so cute. Looks cute. I think it's cute. It's a really cute slide. Thank you, Canva. All right, so let's talk about where we're going. Every time I do a workshop, I kind of like map it out, just how my brain works. So the first thing we're going to talk about health. We're going to talk about how we need to change the way we think about health. I do this every Wednesday for my Wednesday workshop. We talk about this goal. So if you've been to one of my half-hour workshops recently, you know we just talked about this, but it's a good reminder about how we need to look at health. And then the thing I love most about this workshop, it's kind of like, of course, we have our nutrition workshop, we have our healthy movement workshop, we have our stress workshop. But in this workshop, just to get you guys ready for the new year, it's a little of everything. So it's like a little potpourri of eat well, move well, and also think well. Of course, we're going to talk about, when we talk about move well, we're going to talk about your spine because hello, I'm a chiropractor. And then the last section, we're going to pull out those worksheets and we're going to talk about our goals for the new year. And we're just going to write down what inspires us. Okay. So first of all, we need to change the way we think about health. We talk about this on Wednesday nights. You know, our decisions that we make every day, our decisions are what creates our health. So whether we have good health or bad health. So let's think about this in a kind of a spectrum. So we have optimal health here and we have death here. And so we're always moving. Health is never stagnant. It's always moving. So if I'm making 80%, 70% good decisions about my health, which way am I going? Right? So when we talk about this workshop, when we get to like sections like eat well and move well and think well, I'm not asking you to do everything that we're going to talk about tonight because you're going to get overwhelmed. But if you can make some small changes to work on getting to that optimal health side, those little changes you make are going to make you healthier in the long run. And so that's my goal with you tonight, is to help make you understand that it's the choices that you make. We really can't blame our genes anymore. Deborah Davis wrote a book. Oh my God, can't believe how long I've been in practice now. I think I read it almost 20 years ago, called The Secret History of the War on Cancer. And she's an epidemiologist and she specializes in cancer. And she talks about how we cannot blame our genes for most cancers, even because there's too many twin studies showing that twins don't get the same cancers. It's about our genes, or epigenetics, excuse me. It's about our choices. So the way we live our life turns on or off genes. It's called epigenetics. So we really need to understand that our health is what we eat. You know, mom was right. You are what you eat. But you're also how you move and how you think, which I think should give you guys a lot of hope. It makes me really sad when people are just like, oh, I'm doomed to my genes. And yes, of course, there are some genetic disorders out there. Like I think it's about 10%. But for most of our lifestyle diseases, we can do something about it. We don't have to have heart disease. We can have less of a chance of cancer. We can have less of a chance of diabetes just by making good choices alone. And so hopefully I'll inspire you to make some good choices for the new year. So this is not new thinking. One of my favorite books, once again, this is an oldie, but a goodie. We usually have it in our lending library, but you guys can download it if you'd like. It's called Anti-Cancer, A New Way of Life. Dr. David Shervin, he was a psychologist. And it was when they first got the MRI machines, right? And they were so excited. One of the patients for a study didn't show up, and they scanned him and they found a brain tumor. And so he got it removed, and he went around and asked a bunch of people, like experts in the field of cancer, like, what do I do? I want to make sure this doesn't come back. And a lot of them just said to him, I don't know. So he went all over the world and figured out what you need to do so that the cancer wouldn't come back. What helps your immune system? What hurts your immune system? And I loved it because I used to call it the chiropractic Bible, because it really is about eat well, move well, and think well. It's about all the things we teach, especially in the health and wellness world, in the chiropractic world. And actually, I think he lived like 20 more years after, which was pretty amazing for someone who survived brain cancer. And what my favorite, I think this, it's sorry to ruin the book, I guess, spoiler alert. I think this chart really says it all. This is straight from his book. What hurts your immune system or inhibits those immune cells, mind you, even when we were talking about COVID or we're talking about the flu, the reason that, like, knock on wood, I don't get sick all the time is because I do my best to give my body the best defense. If there's a robber in your community, are you going to put more locks on your door? Of course you are. Or are you going to open the windows and let them in, right? So by taking the right supplements, trying to avoid the foods that hurt our immune system, and doing those things on that right side, our bodies can deflect a lot of these diseases, right? I mean, I always joke that if you guys want to meet the antithesis of the germ theory, you're looking at her. How many people do I adjust every day? I'm in your guys' grill. Sometimes I'm like hugging you guys, right? Why am I not sick all the damn time? Oh my gosh, one of my favorite patients. I love her. I probably say about all you guys, and that's okay. She comes to my office. I've known her, oh my God, over a decade, because her girls were little when I met her. Now they're in college and graduating college. And it was actually funny because it was right before I broke my hand. So I kind of blame her for breaking my hand. She walks up to me here and she's about to get adjusted. And she goes, and oh, by the way, she runs a vet clinic. So probably like you, like she sees her doctors call out all the time for sicknesses and stuff. And she looks at me, she goes, "You don't cancel on me." And I go, "Don't jinx me. I've definitely sprained an ankle." And she's like, during soccer, I definitely sprained an ankle. I adjusted people in a booth. That was stupid. And she goes, "Yeah, but you don't call it like sick, like sick, sick." And I go, "Well, don't jinx me again. But yeah, I mean, I do my best to take care of myself." And she goes, "So I really should be doing what you teach." And I've known this woman for like a decade. And I was laughing. I go, "Well, I do sell my supplements." And you get adjusted, and it's just funny. But I love this because he talks about it's all about eating the right food. So like, Mediterranean diet, not eating like, the typical Western diet, which is like processed food, sugar, all those sugar-based foods and they're just awful. Sugar is horrible for your immune system. Sugar is actually, there is some, it's funny, I think this was from Deborah Davis's book. There are people who believe that if there was no sugar, there'd be no cancer. And if you guys don't know how they do a PET scan, do you guys know how they do a PET scan to find cancer? They inject you with radioactive sugar and they look for the spots where the cancer eats the sugar, which is wild. That's how they do PET scans. It's a great way to starve out cancer, is to be a detox, do like a sugar detox. Sugar is so addictive, by the way, that in studies, rats go for sugar over cocaine. So it's not your fault if you love sugar. They've made it to make us addicted to sugar, but it's something to really limit from, because that's why it's so bad for your immune system. And of course, immunity for your immune cells, serenity and joy, being happy. We know when we're stressed out and upset is when we get sick the most. Social isolation, which was horrible during COVID, which now they're looking back and going, maybe that wasn't a good idea. Don't get me started. Having a support loving community, no uncertain identity. It just, makes sense, right? This is duh. Having a sedentary lifestyle is also going to affect your immune system. Exercising regularly movement is actually a nutrient for your cells. So I want people to think they get hungry for food. Your body's hungry for exercise as well. All right. Oh, I forgot my secret words. All right. You guys don't need the secret words because you're here. So those at home, secret word number 1 is change. You know what's funny? I don't even remember what my secret words were because I was so blanked out because I've been doing this for so long with secret words. I ran out. So I called my best friend, Leslie, and I was like, "Hey, can you help me create some fun words for my workshop?" She goes, "Yeah, let's do this." So she probably knows the word. So my secret word number 1 is change. So those at home, reply to that email that we sent you with change, or you can even text our office. People do it all creative ways. See, look, I even changed the comic. Isn't that awesome? I changed to think, updated the workshop. I'm so happy. So now we're going to go through the potpourri of eat well, move well, and think well. So eat well, just some fun little things you can think about this year to make you healthier, right? Just some fun choices you can make. By the way, I think I just love this comic. I don't even know if it's that funny. It says dramatic label readings. Wouldn't you love to go to Costco and they were like, high fructose corn syrup or something? I think it'd be funny. I don't know. I love that. So here's just some quick things. So I always say add things before you take them away. So let's start with adding supplements. Fish oil, probiotics, and high quality multivitamin. Please don't take Centrum one a day. You're flushing them down the toilet. And in the winter, you gotta take vitamin D, and it's not expensive. It's probably one of the big reasons I don't get a lot of illnesses sick. I'm not calling out all the time, is because I take a really high dose of vitamin D during the winter. And yes, I do sell these things here. Actually, the ones that I take. Switching to water. So when, it's all about behavioral changes when it comes to food. So if you're the type of person, like whenever I go to, I don't know, I'm going to shout out to Flip the Bird because Tori's my person. And I always get a Coke well, what if we switch to water, or, making those behavioral changes? You go into the movies, you don't always have to get that popcorn unless that makes you really happy. Sorry, Leslie. Um, but making behavioral changes, switching to water is so huge. It saves you calories. Again, we always say don't drink your calories, but there's so much in, whether it's a soda, but if you read these Celsius drinks or these Red Bulls, they're just as bad. Like the natural flavor is gnarly. So switching to water whenever you can and drinking more water, because sometimes when we're tired, you're actually not tired, you're dehydrated. So trying to go for that glass of water. I hate water. I love admitting this during a workshop. I'm not a water drinker. So when you see me drinking water, it's usually a supplement in there with it. Or I'll just be drinking water. So if you ever see me drinking pink water, that's actually the pink lemonade collagen, which I love. Makes my hair grow too fast though, Molly, right? I know, it makes my hair grow like, look at this. This is getting ridiculous. Freaking collagen. Freaking collagen. Actually, it was cute. One of my friends texted me and she's like, hey, what do I do for my hair? I was like, collagen, girl. Go get some collagen. Shopping around the outside of the market because what's in the middle, crap. And then subscriptions, I do stick to this because I do love my little Walden box that I get. It forces me to cook. It's a bunch of local grass-fed meats from Walden Farm. One of my patients, she just put a sign up for her farm CSA, so you can sign up for that and get some veggies, some organic local veggies. Pretty cool. It actually forces you to cook. If you want to learn how to cook, I see a lot of my neighbors get those really cool, when the box where you cook the meal and it teaches you how to cook. I love going to the grocery store. I'm one of those weirdos. Like I like to like smell my fruit, and she knows I love going to the grocery store and to Tender Crop Farm. I'm a weirdo though. Some people love it, some people don't. Cooking with friends. So that I love talking about this, and I love that Meredith is here. So during COVID, we used to do family dinner as a way of not feeling isolated. We had our little bubble, and we continue. We still do that. We do it every Monday night. They're my last patients, and then during the summer we grill. Dan's a rock and grill. Like my brother can grill like no other. And so we grill and we cook at the house instead of eating out. Sorry, my restaurant owners, but it does save us. My Monday nights, you guys aren't open anyway. Actually, I think that's why we did Monday nights, because nothing's open anyway. So we grill, we have food for the week, and we have a nice healthy meal. We use the garden, like it's great. So I love that. I love that. Um, Also, like not shopping hungry. I need to teach myself that literally every year. Eating snacks that fill you up. I'm all about the high protein snacks. You'll see me at the little chomp bars walking around my office. I love them. Nuts, great healthy fats. We are obsessed with like the little coconut strips. I love coconut. Those stuff are so good. So I also love making like protein balls and making my little snacks. You know what's in it if you have that. Anything with almond butter will fill you up really well too. Trying new recipes. Food prepping's huge. Sunday is my food prep day. My new obsession is doing a protein chia seed pumpkin pudding. It tastes like I'm eating dessert because I'm not a breakfast person. So that's been my obsession lately, to get more protein, always more protein, healthy protein, not unhealthy protein. And then if you don't buy it, you won't eat it. I say this all the time about snacks. If you don't have the Ritz crackers in your house, you're not going to eat them. Did you know that they were banned? They're banned in Europe. I did not. That's one I did not know. I knew like certain dyes were, but because of the yellow food dye in it, it's actually banned in Europe, Ritz crackers. That's how bad they are. I know. I know. I was like, wow, I did not. I just didn't know it. I can't eat it because of the butter, but yeah, I can't eat it because of the butter, huh? No, just read the ingredients. Just look for the dye. Make sure they have plenty of knockoffs that don't have the dyes in it. That's the thing is too, is like nowadays you can go to a like Whole Foods and find the knockoffs. Like we found like what Cheez-Its that weren't as bad for you or something like that. Okay, we're as bad. Right, without the dyes. Yeah, it's like look for just dye-free stuff. Like we need to change that in our country. I cannot believe we still allow dyes. We know neurologically it makes us nuts. It makes our kids nuts. It's horrible for our brains. And then sneak in greens anywhere you can. Collagen is all, like I said, I throw collagen in everything. I have the clear collagen too, so I throw it in soups and sauces. My chocolate collagen goes in anything dessert wise I make, or protein balls. Just adding some good stuff. Chia seeds too, you can add. Also microgreens. If you make a salad, microgreens are amazing for you. So they have like little broccoli greens or alfalfa greens. You can put that on top. And one of the big things, like I just talked about, you got to read labels. It is amazing what I find in things. Who knew that even prescriptions have dyes sometimes on the coating? Wild. Or like if you're taking a Tums and it's pink, hello, there's dyes. Or if it's yellow, there's dyes. So if you're trying to avoid certain things, you really got to look across the board. It's not just the boxes you get at the market, but it could be cough drops. It could be like, gum. Watch out for gum. chewing gum. It's crazy. Like they have like aspartame and all kinds of crazy stuff in it. Watch out for now MSG is called yeast extract. So yay. And I'm finding it in chips now when I didn't see it before. So careful with that too. But trying new things, taste buds do change over time. If you don't, my one of our friends just tried pickles for the first time in his 50s and actually likes pickles. Who knew? I thought that would make you laugh, right? Pickles. Who does? Oh,
Oh, we're back.
we're back.
Yes.
And we're back.
And we're back.
Oh, sorry guys. We've been having. I swear it's the cold. We've been having internet issues all day. We got kicked off our speakers, like our music speakers, what, 3 times today? It was, yeah, see, the face, right? We got kicked off a bunch of times. So sorry guys at home if you missed any of that. It's all right, just read the workshop thing. Just read the slide. Okay, so the next section before we move into Move Well is think well, right? We have to address our stress. This is probably the hardest thing for us, right? But one of my favorite quotes is from Dr. Chestnut is awesome. I did his whole wellness series. Actually, I sell his fish oil here. I don't think anyone makes better fish oil than he does because he's this big research guy. And in his book that has all about it's called Emotional Hygiene, which I think is a really interesting name. But I quote him, and I love this. He always says, acknowledge your stressor, let go, breathe. There is always hope. Hope and optimism are always more scientific, more logical, more useful than fear and pessimism. I love that quote. And then all healing comes from us. The only person we can change is ourselves, right? So we don't have control of anybody else. So my favorite mantras, and if you guys want more about stress and ways to cope with stress, come to the stress workshop. Or you can go on YouTube and see the stress workshop that we just did in the winter, or in the beginning of the winter when we needed the most during Christmas time, excuse me. So one of my favorite mantras that I stole from a yoga teacher was breathe in, breathe out. So if you need to just like focus on absolutely nothing, breathe and think breathe in, breathe out, and just like clear your brain. One of my favorite ones of all time is it all gets done, it always does. The other one thing at a time, you say one day at a time, 1 minute at a time. And my other favorite one, this is temporary, I use that a lot when something doesn't feel very good, when something hurts. It's like, this is temporary, I will get through this, this is temporary, right? When it comes to hurting ourselves and healing, this is temporary, we will get better. It doesn't seem like that when you're in it, but you will get better, I promise. We all do, our body heals. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a moment and breathe, because this is something I need to teach at my stress workshop and this workshop. So those of you at home, I want you to sit up nice and straight, and same with you guys here. And if you sit up nice and straight, I'm going to teach you how to breathe properly, because guess what? A lot of you guys don't breathe properly. We're not supposed to breathe here. We're supposed to breathe here. So what I want you to do is sit up nice and straight, because that's how we get good posture, right? We don't have good lung capacity. If you try to breathe like this, you get stuck, right? So if you're breathing like this, you can take a nice deep breath. Are we okay with the connection?
Comment on microphone not working great.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm doing my best. I can yell. Can you hear me if I yell? I'm doing my best. We have like internet issues, obviously. Hey, next time come down. Hey, that was too microaggressive. Sorry, I love you. Thank you for tuning in. All right, so everyone take a nice deep breath in. We're going to do it for 3, 2, 1, and then breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you've been in this workshop before, you know 3, 5 is my favorite beginner. So I want to have you breathe in for 3, 2, 1. Hold it. Tie yourself to the present. Breathe out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I want you to aim right here. So one more. Breathe right through your belly. Breathe in. 2, 3. Good. Hold it. Tie yourself to the present. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Isn't that crazy how it can mellow out the room? Right? If someone cuts me off in traffic, 3 big breaths, like taking those nice big breaths, can actually help. If someone pisses you off, taking those breaths, it does help. Taking a few breaths. It also helps us to be less reactive and more responsive, because nothing's good when you're reactive, right? So taking that moment, taking a deep breath, and then responding to that jerk who emailed you or whatever, whatever. Taking those deep breaths do really help. Cool. By the way, how cute is my new slides? Okay, you're welcome. Welcome. All right, so next thing we're going to talk about is healthy movement. So here's your little potpourri of healthy movement, just a couple tips. Come to our healthy movement workshop. Plug myself. That's not the next one. The next one's is nutrition. That will be more geared like towards this like beginning of the summer. Get us out and moving. If you're still working from home, please get dressed. Like I know it's really funny that I have to say that to people. Like it's movement, and it's not healthy to stay in your PJs all day, right? So if you're working from home every day still, please get dressed. And what I said, no, seriously. Walks after meals is really good for us. One of the big things, it was like a year ago in like the health and wellness world was testing glucose levels and not letting our glucose spike. It really is the key to everything. Like when we have sugar, our glucose spikes. It's really hard on our pancreas. It's a great way to give ourselves diabetes. And one of the cool keys, one of the little tricks you can do, first of all, if you eat your carbs last, that's really good for you. It's really interesting and it does work. You eat either your veggies first or you eat your protein first and then you eat your carbs last and you don't spike as high, which is really neat. The other cool thing is walking after a meal. If we're sedentary meal, it's not good for our blood glucose either. So taking walks after meals is actually really good for us. Standing during Zoom calls, you can go for walks. If it's something that you don't have to have the video on, why not go for a walk while you're listening to your Zoom call? And actually your brain works better when you're moving anyway. This new thing from the Health and Wellness World, they call it random spurts of exercise, meaning that if you're like, oh my God, Molly, I can't wait to see you do this. You're gonna make fun of me and do this, right? Where like if you're at a computer and you have like a 10-minute break or something, like a little break, you just jump up and you're like, I'm gonna do like 5 squats, or I'm gonna do like 5 jumping jacks, like whatever. They call it like spurts of exercise, and even if you do like 5 of each, apparently it's really good for us. So they call it random spurts of exercise. I'm like, that's really cute. Or you like just like run in place for like a minute. Joining clubs is a great way to hold yourself accountable. There's walking clubs, there's run clubs, there's hiking clubs. There's actually hiking clubs on Facebook. Any kind of club will hold you accountable to actually showing up. Embracing the winter is a big one for me right now because I ski. So whether you ski, snowshoe, I don't know why you cross-country ski. My father made fun of me. I tried it once. I had this winter bucket list when I first moved out here. And I was like, Dad, I'm going to go cross-country skiing. And with his German accent, he's like, why would you do that for fun? It's how we used to get to school in Germany. So funny. He was right. I hated it. And if it's your thing, it's your thing. I would say if I'm going to be doing this, freezing my butt off, I might as well be in like the gym doing an elliptical or something. But I love downhill skiing. Finding a workout routine that fits you, something you like. I love my gym because I love strength training. Oh my gosh, I am Eastern European. I pick things up and put things down. That is my jam. My best friend, she's a runner. She loves running. I hate it. Not my thing, right? So you have to find something you love or you're going to dread going. Having a fit family, like I have my workout friends, I love them. We all hold ourselves accountable and we make it fun, you know? So, shout out to Paul. Poor guy puts up with me at the gym. And then stretching, hello, if you're my patient watching this, I gave you spinal stretches. You should be doing those every morning. I know, every morning. It is so good for you. It prevents, you know, there's no world where you should be shortening your muscles for 8 hours, not moving them, and then jumping out of bed before they're ready. It's how you hurt yourself. And then end up back in my office. You don't do your homework.
Don't look at me.
And then, of course, you wouldn't be in a chiropractic office. I didn't add to the move well section, get adjusted. Because you cannot brush and floss the cavity away. You cannot fix the subluxation. And I always joke that, you know, that's why I have to be nice to the other chiropractors in town. No, I love the other chiropractors in town. They're like my brother and sister. So that takes us to our secret second word, which is starts. What was the first one?
What was the first word?
Change.
Ah, okay, cool. We won't tell the people at home because they have to make sure they watch it, right? Okay, cool. I was like, what did I make the secret words? I love this. All right, so the second word is starts. You're like, what the heck is she talking about? I should probably don't have to remember them.
Should I just roll off?
So why am I going to go off on my tangent about move well, how it starts in the spine? Here's the deal, right? In your spine, we talk about this every day, all day in my office. We have something called subluxations or misalignments. Oh, I want to bring my spine, but that's okay. So when we have a misalignment in the spine due to trauma, so I don't care if it's a macro trauma, whether it's a car accident, slips and falls, whatever, right? Sports we play, to a micro trauma, sitting all day, you know, repetitive stress, bad phone posture, don't get me started. These things leave marks in our spine. Do we feel it? Absolutely not. Not usually. It's like a cavity or tooth. You don't feel it till it's late in the game, right? But what happens when those joints don't move segmentally, that's why we also call it segmental dysfunction, they start to decay and die because of the inflammation, and that's how you get arthritis. You'll see where I'm going with this. But because it's not moving, we're also messing up the nervous system. We're messing up the information going to our brain and coming out of our brain. So what we do with adjustments, we actually free that up. Now, I love you. This girl, she takes care of me. Okay, so when we have these misalignments in our spine, right, it messes up, we call it sensory motor integration. You guys all just fell asleep when I said that, didn't you? All right, but if I said
Not me.
garbage in equals, you would say garbage out, right? If you have bad Wi-Fi signal, right, or if your panel and your electricity sucks, how's the info going? It's not, right? The energy's not going. So what we're learning with chiropractic is when this is stuck, you are not getting full information to your brain called proprioception. And when you don't have that good proprioception, hey, guess where all the benefits of exercise come? Well, not all of them, but most of them come from. You hear, it's funny, I hear trainers going, oh, you got to get into your parasympathetics and sympathetics. Well, good luck if your spine's all locked up, because you're not, right? Because we know that if we're not moving, you're not getting that good stimulation of the brain called proprioception, which means you're more likely in your stress response. But what's interesting, so proprioception, remember doing this in my office? It's our ability to know where we are in space. And a lot of those proprioceptors, actually most of them come from your upper neck, and they only activate with movement. So what happens when those segments of your spine don't move? You're not getting them. So if you're trying to get good proprioception or trying to kick a soccer ball, but your body doesn't know where your foot is, you're gonna not hit it, right? That's, it's funny, I know I'm biased, but I see that now. That I've been in practice for 14 years, and my kids are growing up in here. It is so cool to see them golf, play hockey, play basketball. Talk about great proprioception. Like, these kids can play sports. It's pretty cool because they have good proprioception. But we also know that proprioception overrides your stress in your body. It shuts off your fight and flight, right? And that's what you hear in the gym a lot. Like, oh, this exercise, we're going to exercise to decrease our stress. But if your spine's not getting that full activation, are you decreasing your stress when you exercise? Well, not 100%. So it all came down to this study in 2016. So we always knew we stimulate proprioception and overrode the sympathetic nervous system. We just didn't know how. But my favorite study in the whole entire world, I know it's crazy to say that because I do have a lot of favorite studies, especially when I do research reviews with chiropractors. So in 2016, they did a study in Denmark. They had a full EEG scan. They had a type of EEG. Now here's the problem with adjustments during scans, right? Any of you guys want to put your hands in an MRI machine or a CT scan and try to adjust somebody during a scan? What can't you do when you're in those scans?
No.
Can't move. So how are you supposed to do save that? Well, in Denmark, in 2016, they had this really cool EEG scan. So they could actually see what part of the brain was stimulated during an adjustment. And these four neurologists, and I love that I know the backstory because I've met Heidi. I love Heidi. I present a lot of her research when I do conferences. 4 neurologists who couldn't give a crap about chiropractic. I love that's how she says it, right? And they were so amazed that the scans showed a 20% increase in stimulation to the front of the brain called the prefrontal cortex, that they did it multiple times. I think they did it 4 times, right? Yeah, the 4th time. So they've done it 4 times now, and it's pretty cool because this study has launched studies all over the world with chiropractic in the brain. So what the heck? Why do we care about the prefrontal cortex? Well, ask any teachers. My kindergarten teachers that come here, my 1st grade teachers, and ask them what they're not seeing anymore. Executive function, right? Well, maybe it has to do with these kids with the upper cervical, especially in New England. We have, Massachusetts is 1 in 3 kids have C-sections. So we're pulling a kid by the head, we're disrupting the upper cervical joint, and no wonder we're having kids with executive function disorders. So the prefrontal cortex is important for executive function, but it's also important for decision making, memory. So it's kind of an important part of your brain. Speech function, I love seeing speech delay kids. Well, now we know why. Attention memory, think ADHD. Visual gaze. It's funny, I've had, actually have a funny example of a dog with this, but I've had babies where I've adjusted them and I've watched that lazy eye center. Visual gaze, this is why. Psychiatric disorders, PTSD patients, this is the part of the brain that shrinks. Pretty cool, right? Pain processing, this is where chronic pain wires. But what's really cool, it down regulates the amygdala, which we're going to talk about in a second. So it controls your fight or flight. But the other kind of cool thing is pelvic floor muscle strength comes from that part of the brain. Hey, here I want to push a baby out. Do you think you want some good wiring down to your pelvic floor? Good Wi-Fi there? Yeah. I think this is why in research we push babies out faster, 25% first baby with chiropractic care. Pretty cool, right? So why this down-regulating the autonomic nervous system, what the heck does that mean? So this is one of my favorite things to teach during the stress workshop too. So everyone give me like a, I don't know, is that the Girl Scout sign? Boy Scout sign? Something like that? So, yeah, good stuff, right? Okay, so then you're going to wrap your fingers around your thumb. And so what I'm going to, what I'm demonstrating is this is the prefrontal cortex part of the brain, right? Like that, like that. So what is this part of the brain that you're wrapping around? It's called the amygdala. This is like the reptilian, oh my God. Somebody quoted The Water Boy to me. Remember the Adam Sandler movie? They're like, oh God, that's why the alligators are angry. No, I think it's the amygdala. I actually think they got that wrong. I gotta look that up. I think they were completely wrong. The amygdala is the anger, fear, aggressive reptilian part of our brains. We all have it. It's just the primitive part of the brain. The fluffy cortex stuff is what makes us human. What really makes us human is the prefrontal cortex, which wraps around that primitive brain. So what happens when we're stressed? Bing! You gotta make a noise, right? Everything goes straight and jumps the prefrontal cortex straight to the amygdala. So, do you guys make good decisions as general when you're stressed out? No, right? We learned that over COVID. Remember the toilet paper thing? That was funny, right? We make very bad decisions when we're stressed out because when we're in fight or flight, everything goes straight to the reptilian brain, not to the prefrontal cortex. So the prefrontal cortex is like the principal of the brain. It keeps the brain in check. Like you have like your toddler, your preschooler, and that teacher is going, no, sit down, behave, right? That's that part of the brain. So that's how we decrease the stress response. And so when we stimulate the prefrontal cortex with the adjustment, we stimulate 20%. Cool stuff, right? That's how we decrease your stress response. So I think it's so cool that, chiropractic, people think we're low back pain doctors. No, I mean, we're good at it. But it's so much cooler that we stimulate the part of the brain that makes us human, helps our focus concentration, shuts down your fight or flight. I mean, how many people have ADHD and freaking anxiety walking around, right? So I think people should see chiropractors more for that than anything. And that's actually how we help with migraines too, is by decreasing that sympathetic activation, which is really cool. Oh, speaking of which, I forgot to put this on here. One of my patients wrote me the coolest testimonial. I think this is from our Google reviews. And she wrote, after the first adjustment, she had to run to the bathroom, poop wizard. Wait, where's my mug? Poop wizard, right? Oh my God, I love when parents call me, they're like, I heard you, like, Dr. G, you're gonna get this if you haven't yet. Parents will call me and be like, so, like, my nursery school teacher or somebody was saying that Dr. G is really good with constipation or she makes babies poop. I have the funniest reputation for this now, but it's because we shut down the stress response. She lowered her Prozac, it helped her with her anxiety, but she's better energy, better digestion, and overall better mental health. One of my favorite things that I heard from one of my moms is that she used to feel like she had like 10 tabs open and now she has 2 because it really helps her with her focus and concentration. Prefrontal cortex. So if you don't like your life, it's time to start making better choices. Your life is a result of the choices you make. And so that's really my bottom line for this workshop. All right, so last, because I don't want to go, oh no, we're good. 7:10? We're doing good. Sweet. I didn't know with the pause if we were still doing okay. All right, we're still going okay. When I rewrote this workshop, I actually shortened it a little bit. You're all welcome. But everyone grab that notebook because now we're going to go through, just some ideas of things to write down in those packets. I always say, for some reason, I say a bunch of stuff. I don't know why I say it, but sometimes it's for you guys to hear. And so if you hear something that you're like, oh, I want to do that, write it down. Something that sparks your interest. So grab that notebook. And I think it's the 3 categories, right? What you do that you're going to continue doing well, what you need to start doing, and what you need to get back to doing. Because I think there's a lot of things in those 3 categories, right? So brand new things that you want to start doing. There's things that maybe you've done well before that you dropped the ball on.
Get better at.
And then get better at. Yeah. So like things that you've kind of dropped the ball on, right? Get better at. Or things that are brand new. So those are 3 categories. All right, so by the way, there's a lot of power in writing stuff down, and that's why I love printing those worksheets out and having you guys actually write. You don't have to do it tonight, but it's a good time to like start writing stuff down. Keep it to yourself. You don't need to share it to anybody. But we're gonna go with there's 5 real categories, right? There's health, personal, finance, family, friends, and community. And so we're gonna go through those categories. So here's the Dr. Jamie's rules. We were talking about this earlier, okay? Focus only on yourself. And don't ask anyone to do this for you. This is all about you, nobody else. Do not write down that my husband could be better at giving me flowers. Like, that's not a thing. Do not do that. This is about you, not about anybody else. 2, under each category, separate to month, seasons. This is the reason we do this is because let's say you said during the winter, I'm gonna start going to the gym. Well, if it snows every weekend and it's not very motivating, let's say you drop the ball on it, you can make that your spring goal. Get outside and move. Join a pickleball league, whatever you want to do. Pickleball, great. Goals can be reset or restarted. That's why I don't do resolutions. We do goal setting right now, because you can restart them anytime this year. Never get down on yourself. Just breathe, reset, start over. Check in often. Feel free to check in with, have a coach or a friend to check in with. You're welcome to check in with me. I love that. Action steps, very important over just general goals. So like, I hate the lose weight thing, you know, because that's not a good goal. How about get healthier? Well, how are you going to get healthier? How are you going to lose weight? How are you going to get healthier? Show me your first step. Maybe your first step is, I'm going to add a probiotic because it's going to help with my digestion. It's going to make me full, and you know that's when I'm going to start with that, because probiotics do help with that. I'm going to drink 1 soda a week versus 1 soda a day. So goals that you can do versus I'm going to give it up completely. That's not going to work. Maybe some people, but most people it doesn't. What steps do you need to do to break this down? How are you going to? All right. So first, we're going to talk about movement. All right. So like I said, I'm going to throw a bunch of things at you. If something sticks, write it down. If something sounds good. All right. So here's some goals that you guys can think about. Whether it's starting to walk, get back to walking, hiring a trainer, going to the gym, finding a gym that you like. There's so many awesome gyms around here. Shout out to Iron Village and Rec Fitness, my people. Do you like running? Great, join that run club and make some movement goals. Maybe it's a 5K in the spring. Maybe it's a 5K in the fall, and you want to start doing small runs. Yeah, like I said, don't. If your goal is a marathon, please don't do that without training or doing a 5K first. Make sure you're training for that. So that's a good goal for a year from now. Committing to a class, whether it's a yoga class with some great yoga students, bar, HIIT, Zumba, strength training. There's so many great classes out there. Find something you like. Find a buddy to hold you accountable. Stretch routine. If you've been bad about your spinal stretches, time to put that down on your sheet to get back to it. Getting adjusted, making sure you're making your appointments, getting your body adjusted so you have more energy to work out, and you're getting that full, all the benefits of working out. Join a sports team. Heck yeah, I just signed up for spring football. Yes, I'm back on the football field. Can't wait. But dude, it's awesome because it's exercise without exercising, right? Pickleball. I didn't put that on there. I meant to add it for Joanne. Joanne's become obsessed with pickleball lately. Great exercise. You're meeting new people. It's a really good social sport. And even if it's just less couch time, if you're a person who sits on the couch like 4 hours a night, and you're like, you know what? I'm only going to watch TV now for 2 hours a night. That's still, like I said, you're still walking to optimal health. Toxins, cutting down on specific toxins, sodas, cigarettes, vaping, diet sodas, dyes, cleaning products, medication, endocrine disruptors. So if your makeup has a lot of toxic crap in it, I wouldn't say throw it out all at once, but maybe like start replacing it with ones like even Sephora now, like will actually mark if something is toxic or not, which through the environmental working group's a great source for that. It's really amazing as women if we have a lot of toxins on our face. Our skin is a big organ, it absorbs stuff. If we're putting toxic crap on our face, you're messing up your hormones. There's a lot of cancer causing, and we just had a whole thing on Purell, how bad that is for causing cancer. I know, triclosan is terrible. Plastics, maybe switching to like glass with when you have things in your kitchen, like some leftovers, and then just food in general, drinking more water, eating more greens, eating more veggies. I mean, that's not even a hard thing. Maybe eating like a green with every meal or with dinner, adding salads, taking your supplements. That's another great goal. Getting back to supplements, taking high quality supplements so you're not flushing them down the toilet. If you need any help with that, ask me. I love learning about that. Emotional, making sure you're prioritizing sleep. It is so important. If you're not sleeping well, look where your phone is when you sleep. Is it on? Throwing that thing in the waves of your phone, not good for your sleep. So if you're sleeping with your phone next to your head and it's on, horrible for you. You can flip it into airplane mode or take it out of your room. If you're not falling asleep, that usually could be a calcium or you need to get an adjustment. If you're not staying asleep, that's usually a magnesium thing. So prioritizing sleep and figuring out if you're not sleeping well, figuring out why. Maybe you go to bed earlier. Maybe you should go to bed so late. Turning off your electronics an hour before bed is so important. So, or throwing some blue blockers on. That's another cheap way to do it. They're very cheap on Amazon, and mine are really ugly. So, breathing routine. Maybe doing some breath work before you go to bed. Using those mantras. Meditation. I'm not a good meditator. I fall asleep. So, but we're a breathing kind of girl. Stress relief, music. So whether it's playing an instrument or singing. Comedy shows, that's actually really kind of a fun goal. What a great way to feel good. I mean, I love comedy shows. I think it's so fun to sit there and just laugh so hard I cry. You know, it's a great thing to be in the now. You're not really thinking of anything else. Probably why I love skiing so much. You have to be present. Vacations, taking vacation, that actually is a good goal. I know it sounds funny to say, but as business owners, there were a lot of times there where I had to learn. I think breaking my hand, that was one of the biggest lessons was I need to take more breaks. You know, my office will still survive. I will be a better person when my shoulder doesn't hurt and I take breaks. You know, taking vacations, that should be on your goal list. Taking vacations with your friends, your loved one, you know. Reading, if you're a person who loves reading, maybe reading books at night. Maybe you used to be like, I used to be a much better reader. I need to get back to that. Less TV time, journaling, turn off the news, and maybe less phone time. I think we all can do with less phone time. Phone time also, screen time messes up with your brain. It is addictive. It's a dopamine addiction. It's really bad for phone screen time. And if you're a parent at home, screen time disrupts your kid's prefrontal cortex. So it's literally undoing what I'm doing when I adjust somebody. So if your kid is anxious, ADHD, meltdowns, take that freaking tablet or phone away from them. It literally, when I go to a restaurant and I see kids with screens in their face with my neuroscience background, it makes me want to vomit. It is destroying our kids, especially me teenagers now and kids who have anxiety, ADHD, all that stuff. Well, duh. You know, so many toxins, and it's so important to have these kids go outside. You're literally jumping pathways, learning pathways in your brain development.
A great book just came out on that.
What book? Yeah, what book are you
The
reading?
Anxious Generation.
The Anxious Generation. I can't wait to read that. That's on my list.
Great.
So really, and why?
Rewiring of childhood.
Yep, because we're
Yep.
skipping the prefrontal cortex by kids not playing outside and being on screens. It's terrible. And then their postures like this, don't get me started. And it's also addictive. That's why if you take a screen away from your kid, they melt down. It's like taking cigarettes away. It's a dopamine addiction. So, you know, it's not good. Maybe you have career goals, investing in a better work from home station, better ergonomics. It's an investment in your health. Maybe you want a new career or a new job. Well, what steps are you going to take to get there? That's a great thing to write down on your goal sheet. If you want a new job, write that down. There's power in that. Or if you want to go up in your career, somebody want to save money for your kids' colleges or go back to school, retirement budgeting, all that stuff falls into the career goals. Family time, right? Spending more time with the people you like. Date nights, unplugged evenings, friend unplugged evenings, game nights. One of my friends is really into mahjong. I actually want to learn that. My grandma was a shark. Her and her little old ladies, I couldn't call them at certain nights because they had their mahjong game. I totally forgot about that. It's in again. Mahjong's back.
What is it?
It's that tile game. It's in again. It's so funny. My grandmother was big on it. I love that. Oh my God, they were sharks. Her and her sister. Woo! Girls' nights, boys' nights. You know, women need women. We actually have a hormone, oxytocin, that's released when we're around other women. I always joke and call it the "I'm sorry for men" hormone. I should not say that on a video because we do. We're happier when we're with other women. Men don't really. They don't have that. They have oxytocin, but it's a different thing. Like we actually increase our estrogen when we're around other women. So it's good to have girl time. It's good to have girl weekends, girls' nights, girls' vacations. Sorry, Bill. Setting boundaries. That's another important thing. You need time to yourself. Make time for yourself. You know, if you need time to like just sit and read or have some time to yourself, that's important. Saying no to things, huge. It's okay. I love that. Maybe more me time. Saying no to things, right? And then of course finances. Oh my gosh, we should do it again. We actually did a budget workshop here once. I had one of my financial advisors come down. Maybe I'll have my new one come down because she's really big on budgeting. It is amazing when you write down, like when you write everything down where your money actually goes. It is a great thing to do. I have a couple families in here that I know them when we do their care plans. They have their monthly budget meetings, like husband and wives. I'm like, holy crap! I relationships would have been saved if we would have done that. No, I'm just kidding. But it's so important to know where your money goes. And then getting rid of unnecessary like subscriptions. Dude, they get me too. Some of these vitamins and like the subscription thing, this is obnoxious. So really taking a step back and seeing what you're subscribing to, that maybe it's time to unsubscribe. Like, it is crazy how everything is, that's how they get us nowadays. It's like the subscription is a new pyramid. Money saved is money earned, like finding a high interest savings account or opening a CD. And then volunteering on events, community, giving back is so important. It helps us appreciate what we have. If you guys are really excited, Sunday we're doing the polar plunge for LifeBridge. We are the bone chillers. To come down and you can plunge with us for LifeBridge on Sunday at Lynch Park. It's going to be a lot of fun, 11 a.m. Or joining a committee. We have a bunch for Beverly Main Streets. I know it's just shameless plug for Beverly Main Streets. I was the past president. And then, or like a religious church, a club. Find like-minded people that you can spend time with. It really makes a huge difference. Cool. Whew, that was a lot. I know, I told you, I spit things off, and then anything that inspires you, write it down. So take that moment right now and write those down, and you, like I said, print out those, or you can download them and use the PDF to fill out your goal sheet for this year. Especially if you're just watching this workshop and you haven't done that, try to sit down and do that this weekend. It really makes a big deal. It's a big deal to write things down. And that takes me to the last secret words. Actually, it's not secret words. Is with me. Oh, I see where I went there. Cool. So the last secret words with me. And then if you're watching at home, reply to the email, make sure you put all of those 3 phrases. So let's make this our best year yet. And I stole this from one of my I'm such a voodoo-y chick. Like, I love this stuff. I know I'm a woo-woo, but I don't care. This really awesome horse year affirmation. I was like, I really love this. I'm gonna end my workshop with this. And if you want a copy of this, let me know. I can actually just screenshot it. Maybe I'll post it on our Instagram for our office. But this is a great affirmation for this new year. And just really reading this, hearing the words that are coming out of my mouth when I read this, I think it's just a really great affirmation. It says, I step into the year of the fire horse with courage. I trust my instincts. I no longer shrink, delay, or second guess the life I know I'm meant to live. This year, I choose courage over comfort, expansion over limitation, freedom over fear, protect my energy. Oh, I like that. Protect my energy. I honor my growth. I act with confidence and integrity. Everything accelerates in my favor. I am ready. I am brave. I am moving, and nothing can stop what is meant for me. And that is exactly what the Fire Horse is all about. And I love that. Protect my energy. I love what Taylor Swift, I know. I love what she says, though. She says energy, she looks at her energy as if it's expensive, and she doesn't give it to just everybody, and that is awesome. All right, so thank you guys so much for coming. See, I even changed my last little comic guy. You guys are awesome. Meredith, I did that for you, the cat. So thank you guys so much for coming. Tune into the next workshop. Like I said, shameless plug. If you guys are around Sunday and you want to come down to Lynch Park and do the polar plunge or just cheer us on for LifeBridge, which is a great organization locally, feel free. Also, the day before St. Patrick's Day, March 16th, 16th, Monday, we're actually doing a really fun party for you guys, so make sure you move your adjustments for that Monday. So I'm going to be taking a few days off the end of that week. And we're going to have really fun giveaways. We're going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day a day early. And I think that's it for our office thing. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Send us the secret words, and I hope you guys have the best 2026. I am here for you for it. So I'll see you guys at the nutrition workshop. Have a great night, guys. Yay!